Topic for today's class is, anybody, what is the topic for today's class? Ureter and urinary bladder. I am happy that some of you have seen the schedule, so we are going to discuss the urinary bladder and the ureter. So what do you know about urinary bladder? कहाँ क्या है? What is urinary bladder? For what it is meant? Anyone? It is for the storage of urine. Where it is located, in the abdomen or in pelvis? Do you all agree to it? That it is located in the pelvis only and it doesn't come to the abdomen anytime? Yes or no? When it becomes filled, it reaches to the abdomen. What is the capacity of the bladder? How much urine it can store? 250 ml में क्या होता है? The sensations for the micturition, or somebody can feel that the bladder has started filling or it has filled to a certain level. But then there is an anatomical capacity and then there is a physiological capacity. We will be seeing to all these aspects. और क्या पढ़ते हैं हम एनाटॉमी के किसी भी विसरा के लिए? ग्रॉस एनाटॉमी. इफ somebody asks you to write the gross anatomy of urinary bladder, so in what all headings you will write that? External features. So what are the external features? The surfaces. And सिर्फ सरफेस लिख कर आओगे, बाकी लोग कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे. हाँ, क्या लिख कर आओगे अगर ग्रॉस एनाटॉमी में तुमको नहीं पीछे? हाँ, ब्लैक शर्ट में जो बैठे. हाँ, तुमको क्वेश्चन आया है, किसी भी विसरा की ग्रॉस एनाटॉमी तुमको डिस्क्राइब करनी है, तो इन व्हाट ऑल हेडिंग्स विल यू डिस्क्राइब द ग्रॉस एनाटॉमी ऑफ द ब्लैडर? सरफेसेस, बॉर्डर, डायमेंशंस, लोकेशन. अगर सरफेसेस हैं तो उनका क्या होगा? रिलेशंस. सो वी विल बी रीडिंग दी सरफेसेस, बॉर्डर्स, रिलेशंस, शेप, लोकेशन. ये सारी चीजें ब्लैडर के लिए हम देखेंगे. सो व्हाट इज द शेप ऑफ द यूरिनरी ब्लैडर? इट इज मतलब ये, हाँ, it becomes ovoid in shape. When it becomes filled, it reaches to abdomen, but this is tetrahedral or pyramidal in shape when it is empty. So you can identify the shape. अब इसमें क्या है bladder में? Basically, if you think about a box and if at the inferior surface of certain box there is a border, then what will happen to the inferior surface? एक बॉर्डर मिल गया है नीचे, तो क्या सुपीरियर सरफेस इसका बॉक्स के जैसा फ्लैट है, इंफीरियर सरफेस पे क्या है? एक बॉर्डर है. तो इंफीरियर सरफेस कैसा हो जाएगा? इट विल बिकम ट्रायंगुलर. और देयर आर टू इंफीरोलैटरल सरफेसेस. सो वन इज सुपीरियर सरफेस एंड देन देयर आर टू इंफीरोलैटरल सरफेसेस. देन यू कैन सी देयर इज एन एपेक्स and then there is a base which lies opposite to the apex. Now what all are the borders? कितने borders दिख रहे हैं इसमें? कैसे आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हो कितने? एक मैंने तुमको बता दिया कि there is a border on the inferior surface. What are the other borders? Is there ये border एक दिख रहा है? यहाँ पे एक बॉर्डर हो सकता है जो एक सुपीरियर सरफेस और दो साइड के इंफीरोलैटरल सरफेस को सेपरेट कर सकता है. यस और नो? सो देयर आर टू लैटरल बॉर्डर्स. सो देन यू कैन आइडेंटिफाई देयर इज वन मोर स्ट्रक्चर विच लाइज अलोंग द नेक ऑफ द ब्लैडर. नेक ऑफ द ब्लैडर इज द रीजन वेयर द prostate, from where the urethra is starting, and then the prostate gland, it surrounds the neck of the bladder. But prostate glands, it is only present in the males. So no such structure will be surrounding the neck of the bladder in females. So apex is lying where? Will it lie anteriorly or posteriorly? It will lie anteriorly. Then base will lie posteriorly. There is a superior surface. There is this border lying on the inferior surface is the anterior border, and it is dividing the inferior surface into two inferolateral surfaces. So then what is the location of the bladder? Where it is located? It is located in the pelvis, but when it becomes filled, it will reach to the abdomen. Now, what all viscera are related to the bladder? We will see each and every surface, but just to have an overview, ये कौन सा bone है? If we take the sagittal section of the pelvis, and I ask, no talking. If we take a sagittal section of the pelvis, and if I ask you to describe what all viscera are present from anterior to posterior in pelvis, what all viscera are present in males, what lies just behind, what is this bone? ये क्या दिख रहा है? Sagittal section ले रहे हैं, तो हम कहीं mid में से ले रहे हैं, anteriorly कौन सा bone है? There will be, what will be present anteriorly? Pubic symphysis. And what will lie just behind pubic symphysis? This is what? अब मैं बोलूंगी ही नहीं, मुझे बोलना ही नहीं है, तुम लोग ही बताओगे कि ये क्या है. हाँ बेटा, खड़े हो जाओ. हाँ, क्या दिख रहा है तुमको? ये प्यूबिक सिम्फाइसिस से पीछे, ये पहले ये बताओ, ये सजाइटल सेक्शन मेल का है या फीमेल का है? हाँ, मेल. वाई? बिकॉज देर इज नो थर्ड विसरा एंड दैट इज द यूटरस. सो व्हाट इज प्रेजेंट एंटीरियरली? व्हाट इज दिस? लिखा हुआ है उसके ऊपर, पिक्चर बहुत छोटा है, वो जूम नहीं है. हाँ, urinary bladder. So what is lying anterior to the urinary bladder? This is the pubic symphysis. Then behind the urinary bladder, can you identify this viscera? This is what? क्या और प्रेजेंट है पेल्विस में? दो ही विसरा तुम्हें बड़े बड़े पढ़ने हैं. मैं नहीं कह रही कि तुम वास्ट डिफरेंस पढ़ लो, तुम सेमाइनल वेसाइकल पढ़ लो. दो बड़े विसरा कौन से हैं? ये यूरिनरी ब्लैडर है, पीछे क्या है? रेक्टम एंड एनल कैनाल. So then you can identify, so that means bladder is lying anterior to the rectum and anal canal in males, and then it is lying anterior to uterus in females. So uterus will come in between. Can you identify, can you see the fold of the peritoneum, how it is going over the bladder? Peritoneum is coming like this, it is covering the superior surface of the bladder. Then it is passing somewhat posteriorly, and then it is forming a pouch between the rectum and the urinary bladder. This pouch is known as pouch of Douglas or the rectovesical. There is a rectovesical pouch in males, and then there is utrovesical pouch in the females. So that means these will be the relations. So we will be seeing each and every relation one by one. So when the bladder is empty, it entirely lies in the lesser pelvis, and when it becomes distended with urine, it becomes ovoid. Even it loses its shape, and then it reaches to the abdominal cavity. So again you can see, or you can identify the different relations of the bladder. Can you identify a ligament which is connecting, the pubis with the neck of the bladder? This pubocervical ligament will be present in the females only, and in males it will be replaced by the, what is present around the neck of the bladder in males? Prostate. So there is puboprostatic ligament. So we will be seeing all the ligaments. Then you can see the fold of the peritoneum. This is the utrovesical pouch. This is the recto-uterine pouch. So this whole is the sagittal section of the pelvis in a female or of a female. So you can identify the three viscera, they are present over there. Now again you can see, we will be coming to this. These are the two inferolateral surfaces. This is the base of the bladder. This is the apex of the bladder, and then there are two inferolateral surfaces. So it is a hollow retroperitoneal organ. Is it retroperitoneal? I would say it is more or less infraperitoneal also, because the peritoneum, it comes and it covers its superior surfaces, passes somewhat posteriorly, then it is pyramidal in shape. Its capacity is about 400 to 500. There is a difference between the anatomical capacity and the physiological capacity. Average, so when empty, it is tetrahedral in shape. There is apex, base, superior surface, two inferolateral surfaces, and then there is a neck. And neck of the bladder is surrounded by prostate gland in males, and neck is the place where the urethra starts. So, now coming to the relations of each and every part. So where is the apex located? It is located anteriorly, and then it is a pointed anterior. It lies above the margin of the pubic symphysis. It is connected to umbilicus by a median umbilical ligament, and that medial umbilical ligament it forms a urachus. So the apex of the bladder, it is connected. This is the apex of the bladder. It will be connected to the umbilicus by the median umbilical ligament, that is also known as urachus. And urachus is the remnant of allantois. What is allantois? What is allantois? It is an embryological fold from the cloaca, and then it is involved in the development of the urinary bladder also. So then it becomes a it is converted into ligament, and that is the median umbilical ligament, and the urachus is present over there. Now this is which surface? This is the posterior surface or the base of the bladder. So base of the bladder is related to what? Can you identify the structures which are present or related to the base of the bladder on the posterior surface? क्या क्या दिख रहा है यहाँ पे? There is vas deferens and there are seminal vesicles. What is the course of the vas deferens? How it reaches to the bladder? Vas deferens is the continuation of epididymis. So it will carry the semen from the epididymis. It will reach to the vas deferens, and then vas deferens will lie posterior to the bladder, and along with that there are seminal vesicles. So now all these will be forming a common duct, and that duct will be along with the prostatic secretions, there will be the ejaculatory duct, and that ejaculatory duct will be opening into what? It will be open into the prostatic part of the urethra. So that is why the vas deferens, after coming from the testis, you know where are the testes located? They are located in the scrotum. Then from the epididymis to the vas deferens, it will be reaching into the posterior surface of the bladder. The seminal vesicles will also pour their secretion. Ejaculatory duct will be formed. Then prostate will also pour its secretion combinedly. Those will be poured into the prostatic part of the urethra. What you have to remember over here is that vas deferens and the seminal vesicles, they are related posteriorly to the bladder, and superiorly there is fold of peritoneum, because peritoneum, it covers its superior surface. It will go posteriorly, and then it will be forming the pouch. So these all are the posterior relations or the base of the bladder. Again you can see the posterior relations. This is the apex, this is the superior surface, and this is the posterior surface. Onto the posterior surface you can identify the vas deferens. जब तुम लोग वहाँ पे cadaver में vas deferens identify करोगे, it is known as a whipcord like structure. There is very thick muscular coat. तो वो बिल्कुल एकदम thick muscular coat you can identify on the, you can see how tortuous it is, and it is very closely related to the posterior surface of the bladder. So the base of the bladder is triangular. Superolaterally it is joined by the ureter at two angles. Superolaterally क्या हो रहा है base में? There are two ureters which are joining at the two angles. Inferior angle it gives rise to the urethra, जहाँ पे वो neck of the bladder है, वहाँ urethra है. Two vas deferens lie side by side on the posterior surface. Upper part of the posterior surface is covered by peritoneum and it will be forming a rectovesical pouch. The lower part will be separated from the rectum, and there is vast difference. There is seminal vesicle and there is rectovesical fascia, which will forming the pouch also. So this way, this is the superior surface, this is the inferolateral surface. The base lies posteriorly. We are saying that the base is triangular. So what are the three angles for that triangular base? So two angles are at the ureter and the third angle is where there is neck of the bladder. So this way it is a triangular. So what are the superior relations of the bladder? What can be the superior relations for the bladder? It is covered by peritoneum. What will lie above the peritoneum? फेशिया तो हो गया, पेरिटोनियम आ गया. पेरिटोनियम के ऊपर कैविटी में क्या है? एब्डोमिनल कैविटी में हाँ क्या है? There are interstitial coils of the intestine, so they will be coming onto the superior surface is covered by peritoneum. It is when it fills, it comes in contact with the anterior abdominal wall. Inferolaterally, it is separated from the base, I would say, by a space, because you know that every viscera, it has to have got certain support or something on which it should lie. So there is a pad of fat. So there is a pad of fat, and the space is known as space of Retzius, and it is filled by fat and the loose connective tissue. That means inferolateral surface is related to the pad of fat, and this space is known as space of Retzius. So this is the pubic symphysis. These are the puboprostatic ligaments, or there might be pubocervical ligaments in females. This is the inferolateral surface which is separated from the wall of the pelvis and from the floor of the pelvis by the space of Retzius or the retropubic space. You can identify this space. ये जब तुम लोग bladder निकालोगे, you can easily see कि bladder के बिल्कुल सामने और नीचे की तरफ there is a lot of fat. So that is retropubic space of the Retzius. I will be coming to the ligaments, but before that, okay. So we will be discussing the ligaments. I hope the relations are clear to you. कौन से relations मैंने बताया? Superior surface is related to the peritoneum and the coils of the intestine. Then base is related to rectouterine pouch or rectovesical pouch, and plus vas deferens and seminal vesicles in males. वो नहीं भूलना है, because that is a very important relationship. So you have to remember that. Then inferolateral surface is separated from the pelvic walls and the floor by a space. That is the space of Retzius filled with the fat. Apex is connected to umbilicus by a ligament. That is the median umbilical ligament. It is a remnant of urachus, allantois, you can say. So that is there. So these are the relations of the bladder. Now coming to the ligaments of the bladder or the thickenings of the peritoneum, I would say they will be forming the ligaments and they will be holding this urinary bladder at its place. So there are two kinds of ligaments, true ligaments and the false ligaments. ठीक है, तो साइड से पीछे से सब जगह से जो इसको सपोर्ट मिल रहा है, there is one median umbilical ligament, then there are medial umbilical ligaments also. But before that, these ligaments, the medial and the lateral, this ligament is what? This is the in front. What is there which is connecting the pubic symphysis with the bladder is the puboprostatic ligament. So some of the books write there are 4 folds of or 4 thickenings of the puboprostatic ligament. So there is the 2 are medial and 2 are lateral. Then there are certain lateral ligaments also which are connecting the bladder laterally with the pelvic fascia. And then posteriorly there are certain posterior ligaments also. So that means bladder is supported from every side. There are, I'll be coming to the true ligaments and the false ligaments. So neck is lying where? It is lying inferiorly, it is resting on prostate, it is held in its position by the ligament, that is the puboprostatic ligament. In females there is pubocervical ligament. So again you can identify the ligaments with these are the true ligaments of the bladder. So true ligaments are what? There is one median umbilical ligament, there are two medial umbilical ligaments, and these medial umbilical ligaments are actually formed by the obliterated umbilical arteries. So one median umbilical, two medial umbilical, median and medial, N and L you have to differentiate. So one median, two medial umbilical, and then there are lateral ligaments from the urinary bladder which will be connecting the bladder with the pelvic fascia. So these are the true ligaments. Now along with these true ligaments, the peritoneum also covers, it also forms folds, and then they will become the false ligaments. So true ligaments are median umbilical ligament, which is urachus. Then lateral umbilical ligament, which is the lateral wall of the bladder, will be connected to the pelvic fascia. The medial umbilical ligaments, which are remnants of the umbilical arteries. And then there are these two, the puboprostatic ligament is also a true ligament. So which four ligaments are the true ligaments? There are three which are related to the apex or near, at the apex there is median umbilical. Near to the apex there are medial umbilical ligaments. One ligament is connecting the neck of the bladder with the pubic symphysis, that is the puboprostatic ligament. Along with that, the lateral umbilical ligament is also a true ligament. And you can see over here the posterior ligament, because they are very thin and sheets of fascia sort of, so they are the false ligaments. So we will be coming to the false ligament. So false ligaments are actually along these true ligaments. So superior false ligament, it will course along the urachus. There are lateral false ligaments which will course along the lateral true ligament. There is lateral superior ligament which are along the medial umbilical ligaments, and what is added to this list is the posterior ligament. So what was not there in the true ligaments? That was posterior ligament, it has come. But to be very specific, if somebody asks you puboprostatic ligament, is it a true ligament or a false ligament? True ligament, that you have to remember. Posterior ligament is a true ligament or a false ligament? It is a false ligament. Otherwise, the median umbilical, the medial umbilicals and the lateral ligaments from the urinary bladder, there are true ligaments, and along with the true there are false folds also. So this is how it is divided. So what are the peritoneal relations? How the peritoneum covers? It covers the superior surface and the posterior surface, and then it forms a rectovesical pouch in males and rectouterine pouch in the females. So pouch. Now coming to one more thing, what is the function of the bladder? But because before going to the interior of the bladder, it would be designed according to its function. What is the function of the bladder? Only storage, contraction, micturition. So that means its wall should be muscular. And does whole of the bladder it contracts simultaneously, or there is a peristaltic wave as seen in the intestine? There is peristalsis, or it contracts simultaneously? It contracts simultaneously like uterus. So the arrangement of muscles in the wall of the urinary bladder, it is three-dimensionally arranged, and the muscle coat which is present in the wall of the urinary bladder is known as the detrusor muscle. So there is a thick detrusor muscle coat, and what is the epithelium which is lining the urinary bladder? It is the transitional epithelium. You know what are the functions of transitional epithelium? हाँ, वो layers जो हैं वो जब stretch हो गई है, जब unstretched है तो 6-7 layers है, और जब stretched है तो there are 2-3 layers. So And then there is one more function of the transitional epithelium. Very important function. There are certain specific junction. I forgot the name of those junctions. They are present in that epithelium and they have got a very specific function. They prevent the, I would say, they prevent the urine from going inside into the walls of the urinary bladder. So it is protective. Huh? They are tight junctions, but those tight junctions have got certain name also. So so they are actually meant for that urine does not seeps into the wall of the bladder. It protects the bladder also. So there are two functions of the transitional epithelium, and then this bladder has got a thick muscle coat. When you will open the bladder, you will be able to identify it has got a thick muscle coat. But then there is an area of the bladder which is devoid of the muscle coat. This area is known as the trigone of bladder. This trigone is present posteriorly, and if I am saying it is a trigone, it is formed by the entering of the ureters, and then at the lower end there is urethra. So this whole region, this is known as the trigone of the bladder. Now this trigone of the bladder, the two openings of the ureter, they are connected by a bar. That bar is known as bar of Mercier. And then there is again a bar, or there is some ridge that is known as Bell's bar or the urethral ridge. So there are two bars. What are the names of the bars? There is interureteric ridge, that is bar of Mercier. There is urethral ridge, that is Bell's bar. You will be able to identify these thickenings in the trigone of the bladder when you will open the bladder. They are very conspicuously seen. So this hole is the interior of the bladder. This is the urethra. This is the prostate gland. Then there is this uvula vesicae part is also there. There is certain valves, or exactly there are not valves, but there are thickenings of the sphincters at the uretrovesical junction. This is to prevent the reflux of the urine from the bladder to the ureters. So where there is a ureteric constriction also, we will be reading ureters also today. So what is trigone? It is a triangle of smooth urothelium between two ureteric orifices and the internal urethral meatus. It is firmly adherent to the muscular coat. Its superior angle corresponds to the ureteric orifice, and in the inferior angle there is internal urethric orifice. And this muscular thickened coat at the interureteric crest is known as the bar of Mercier, and between ureters and the internal urethral meatus there is again a bar, that is the Bell's bar. So here actually the epithelium, it bounds to the rest of the muscular coat, which is the destrusor muscle that is present outside. I won't go to its details. So again you can identify this. So this hole is the detrusor muscle, which is lying this is forming the wall of the urinary bladder, and then you can see this is the trigone of the bladder. Inside there are two ureteral openings, and then there is a internal urethral sphincter. So this hole is forming the this trigone of the bladder. Now what will happen at the uretrovesical junction? What should be there at the uretrovesical junction? There should be some thickening to prevent the reflux of the urine. So spiral fibers of the ureter, they become longitudinal, and they will become encased in a sheath. So they are actually to prevent the this reflux. Now what is the arterial supply of the bladder? Which all arteries will be supplying? दो यहाँ लिख रखी है according to the name of the bladder. They are the superior and the inferior vesical arteries, and they are branches of the internal iliac arteries. Along with that, the uterine artery and the vaginal artery, they also supply the bladder. So the the superior and the inferior. The superior vesical artery will be supplying the superior surface. The inferior vesical artery, it will supply the base, the inferolateral surfaces. So according to that, so superior vesicle will supply superior part. The inferior vesicle, it will supply the lower ureter, bladder base, prostate, and trigone is mainly supplied by the uterine artery and the vaginal artery in a female. Now where will the veins will go? The venous plexus, actually it lies along the posterior ligament. जो हमने posterior ligament देखा था, उसी के अंदर there is venous plexus and ultimately it goes to the internal iliac vein. As the branches are coming, the arterial supply is from the internal iliac arteries. Internal iliac arteries are branches of common iliac arteries, so they will be supplying. Then lymphatic drainage will be mainly to the external iliac group of lymph nodes, and some will go to the internal iliac and the obturator group of lymph nodes. Now the nerve supply of the bladder. It is which type of viscera? It is a viscera. So that means it will get this nerve supply from the autonomic nervous system. So there are two components of the autonomic nervous system, sympathetic and the parasympathetic. So sympathetic nerves, they will be coming from where to where? You can identify, you can see T11 to L2. So that means lower thoracic and the upper lumbar, they are giving this nerve supply. Then parasympathetic in the pelvic region, it is by the S2, S3 and S4 level. And beyond vagus supplies up to where? The vagus nerve is parasympathetic up to where? Because before this, for all of the viscera you were reading, that parasympathetic component was coming from the vagus. And then now you are seeing that the parasympathetic component is coming from S2, S3 and S4. So till the junction of the midgut and the hindgut, it is the vagus which is giving the parasympathetic supply, and beyond that in the abdomen and then in the pelvis, the parasympathetic supply will be coming from S2, S3 and S4. Now what is the function of this parasympathetic nerve supply? Because what is the function of the bladder? There are two things occurring. There is contraction of the bladder, and then for micturition what should happen? There should be relaxation of the sphincter. So this is maintained by which component? Parasympathetic or sympathetic? Parasympathetic. So every normal thing is parasympathetic. We want micturition to happen. It is a normal process. So that is maintained by the parasympathetic component. So it causes contraction of the detrusor muscle and relaxation of the internal urethral sphincter. And then we have an external urethral sphincter also. So then the sympathetic will do what? It will cause relaxation of detrusor and contraction of internal. So that means you can correlate, if you have a sympathetic tone, sometimes holding of urine occurs. So that is because of the contraction of the internal urethral sphincter. So this is the normal nerve supply, and then the pain sensations also. Whenever there is more urine than the normal capacity after 250 milliliters, if the amount occurs 500 ml, there are pain sensations also which we can feel, because before that everything is at the autonomic level. So those pain sensations are carried by somatic nervous system, and their root value is, again it is S2, S3, S4 pudendal nerve. So that means parasympathetic भी spinal cord से उसी level से आ रहा है, but that is from the lateral horn, and this pudendal nerve will carry its afferents to the posterior horn of the spinal cord through the pudendal nerve. So remember the three things: pudendal nerve, the pelvic splanchnic nerves or S2, S3, S4, the parasympathetic, and then the sympathetic component through the hypogastric and vesical plexus, they are relaying over that, and then they are supplying the bladder. So somatic is by pudendal nerve, then parasympathetic, it will be excitatory to the bladder, it will be relaxing the sphincter, and sympathetic will be inhibitory to the detrusor muscle, and it will be contracting the sphincter. So now what will happen? There are three pathologies related to the nerve supply of the this bladder. Have you heard of atonic bladder, automatic bladder, autonomic bladder? What are they? जब भी ब्लैडर में अगर क्वेश्चन आता है तो ये तुम्हारे तीनों जो अप्लाइड एस्पेक्ट्स, जैसे इंग्वाइनल कैनाल आएगा तो इंग्वाइनल हर्निया यू शुड नो. सिमिलरली इफ यू रीड अबाउट द ब्लैडर, सो दीज थ्री क्लिनिकल कंडीशंस यू शुड नो. क्या क्या है? एटोनिक ब्लैडर, automatic bladder, and the atonic autonomic bladder. So what will happen if there is loss of afferent nerve supply to the bladder? So what will happen if there is afferent loss of, it may occur in a condition that is known as Taves dorsalis. Always remember the sensory component, it affects the spinal cord, and it always affects the posterior root or the sensory component. So there will be loss of urinary bladder sensations, there will be loss of reflex micturition. Atonic bladder will occur whenever there is loss of denervation of the afferent supply. If you don't remember anything, then just think of atonic bladder is कब हो रहा है? जब when there is loss of afferent nerve supply of the bladder. So what will happen? There is if the afferents are lost, there will be retention with overflow. There will be dribbling of urine when the bladder becomes overfilled, because the sensations are not going to the brain. Overfill है, कौन सा है, क्या है, वो sensations ही नहीं आ रहे हैं brain के पास में. So bladder will lose its, it will retain the urine, and there will occur dribbling of the urine when it becomes overfilled. Now next is when there is loss of the both afferent and the efferent nerve supply of the bladder. So before that it was only the afferent was lost, and now there is loss of the afferent and the efferent, both are lost. So what will happen if there is afferent and efferent, if both are lost? So it is associated with uncontrolled periodic micturition, and that means the bladder it has become the automatic kind of condition. So there is it is associated with uncontrolled periodic micturition, and अपने आप एक periodic interval पे there will be the micturition is happening. And finally, whenever there is loss, the transaction of the spinal cord above the sacral region. So because from the sacral region, what is coming to the bladder? Parasympathetic nerve supply is coming from S2, S3 and S4. Now there is transaction of the nerves above the level of the sacral level. So then what will happen? Finally there will be retention and the overflow of the urine, and there will be automatic micturition. So that means in the first condition there was the atonic bladder. Now there is automatic micturition, and it is like it is only occurring the 15 to 20. Automatic micturiation actually occurs whenever there is reduction in the capacity of the bladder. हम पहले बोल रहे हैं कि 200 to 250 तक जब fill होगा तभी जाके sensations आ रहे हैं. उसके बाद में जब हमारे पास में जो transaction हो गया spinal cord के level पे, then when the bladder will be filled up to 15 to 20 milliliter also, then also there can be automatic micturition. So then what will happen? There will occur retention, and then if there recovery is occurring, then there will be automatic micturition, and if the recovery is not occurring, there will be retention with overflow. So we have got the three conditions. One was atonic bladder, other was automatic bladder, and the third one is the autonomic bladder. So atonic bladder is when there is loss of sensory nerve supply to the urine. The spastic bladder, or I would say the autonomic bladder, it is the spastic bladder whenever it goes in a spasm, and automatic is like when there is micturition at every 15 to 20 ml, then it becomes the automatic bladder. So these are the three conditions associated with the bladder. Then we are coming to the next topic, and that is the ureters. So what do you know about the ureters? They carry urine from the which part of kidney? From the renal pelvis to the urinary bladder. So where the ureters are located? They are located in the abdomen also, they are located in the pelvis also when they are going to. So there is an abdominal part of the ureter and then there is a pelvic part of the ureter. So what are ureters? They are a thick walled muscular tube which are responsible for the expensile of the or for carrying the urine. What is the length? It is 25 centimeters. Can anybody tell me where are the three ureteric constrictions located? Because that is the question which is most commonly asked. Where are the three places where a calculus can be stuck? The three constrictions of the ureter. कहाँ कहाँ हो सकते हैं? हाँ, जहाँ पे there is the uretrovesical orifice, जहाँ हम बोल रहे हैं there is thickening of the sphincter, one constriction is there. Other is at the pelvic ureteric junction, जहाँ पे renal pelvis से बिल्कुल ये शुरू हो रहा है. मैं किसकी बात कर रही हूँ? renal pelvis की. तो किडनी में जहाँ से ये शुरू हो रहा है, एक वहाँ है, एक जहाँ ये end हो रहा है, where it is opening into the bladder. And the third constriction is जहाँ से ये abdomen से pelvis में जा रहा है, at the pelvic brim, because there it is related to the division of the common iliac arteries into internal iliac and the external iliac. So these three are the main ureteric constrictions where a calculus can be stuck. Other things we will be seeing the relations and all the things. So it is starting in the renal pelvis. It is, you can see, it is going inside the urinary bladder. It is crossing the brim at the level where the common iliac arteries are dividing into internal iliac and the external iliac arteries. So then it is lying on which muscle in the posterior abdominal wall? There are three muscles. It is lying on the psoas major muscle. So one relation which you can always remember is the psoas major muscle. It is lying onto those muscles. So it begins as a downward continuation of renal pelvis. It is lying slightly medially on the psoas major. It enters the pelvic cavity at the bifurcation of the common iliac arteries. So what is the course in the pelvis? How it reaches to the urinary bladder? First it will go backwards and laterally and then it will come forwards and medially. और कहाँ ये change हो रहा है? At the level of ischial spine. So when it is reaching the pelvic brim, it will go backwards and laterally, and then at the level of ischial spine it will be coming forward and medially, and then it will be entering into the trigone of the bladder. It is divided into two parts, the abdominal part and the pelvic part, and the length of both the parts are almost same, 12.5 centimeter. So these are the relations. Will the relations differ on the right side and the left side? Yes or no? Yes, they will differ. So what will be the relations on the right side and what will be the relations on the left side? क्या क्या क्रॉस करते हुए यूरेटर जा रहा है? एक पोस्टीरियर रिलेशन तुमने श्वास मेजर बता दिया, और यहाँ राइट साइड में क्या क्या दिख रहा है? There is second part of duodenum. You can see it is lying anteriorly. Anterior relations basically they will be differing. Then what is there on the right side? There are right colic vessels. There are ileocolic vessels. Then this is the root of the mesentery. It is also crossing the ureter anteriorly. Then on the left side, what is there? There are left colic vessels, then sigmoidal vessels, gonadal vessels, and then you can see the mesentery here is the sigmoid mesocolon. क्योंकि वो जो mesentery of the intestine है, it will go towards the right side, so it will be crossing it on the right side, and on the left side there will be left sigmoid mesocolon. So these are the relations on the left and the right side. So right ureter will have what all anterior relations? The second part of duodenum, right colic vessels, ileocolic, gonadal vessels, then right testicular root of mesentery. Here there will be the left colic vessels, sigmoidal vessels, testicular ovarian, sigmoid, mesocolon. And posteriorly there will be psoas major and bifurcation of the common iliac arteries. Common iliac arteries divide into internal and external iliac arteries, and they can constrict or compress the ureter also. So there is a ureteric constriction also. Then medially it is related to the inferior vena cava, and the left ureter is related to left gonadal vein and the inferior mesenteric vein. You know that the drainage, venous drainage, it differs on the right side and the left side. So on the right side it is the inferior vena cava because the vessels are straight, and then on the left side they will be their left renal vein, so their gonadal veins will be coming to the renal vein, so they will be related to the left ureter. Now coming to the pelvic part of the ureter, so it will cross in front of all the nerves and vessels on the lateral pelvic wall except the vas deferens which lies in front of it. तो lateral pelvic wall पे जितने भी nerves and vessels हैं, क्या nerves and vessels हैं lateral pelvic wall में? Internal iliac arteries, basically they will be supplying the whole of the pelvis, and the viscera which are getting the blood supply from the internal iliac arteries, they are the three viscera in females: the urinary bladder, the uterus and the rectum and the anal canal, and the two viscera in males. So on the lateral side there are internal iliac arteries, and then there are the nerves are also there, and then vas deferens will cross in front of it. So what are the three places where there is narrowing or constriction? One is at the pelvi-ureteric junction. This pelvi-ureteric junction is which pelvis? It is the renal pelvis where the ureter starts. What are the components of the renal pelvis? What is there inside the renal pelvis? Anybody? So at the pelvic ureteric junction, and then at the pelvic brim, it will where it crosses the common iliac artery, and then there is utero-vesical junction. So these are the three constrictions. There are two more places where it is. In addition to the above sites, there are two more places where it can be constricted. So one is the juxtaposition of the vas deferens and the broad ligament in female. So where it is, the vas deferens is lying anterior to it and it is lying posterior to the vas deferens. So there also it can be constricted. Then the other is the same, where ureter enters into the bladder, because ureteric orifice will be the same as the uretero-vesical junction where it is entering into the bladder. So these are actually the four places where there are constrictions. So what will be the arterial supply of the ureter? It is getting arterial supply from everything which is from the structure, from what all structures it is crossing. So कहाँ से ये शुरू हो रहा है? Kidney से जा रहा है, and then it is reaching to the urinary bladder. So it will be supplied by the renal artery. Gonadal vessels are there, so testicular, ovarian. There are direct branches from aorta. Then internal iliac, these branches from the internal iliac, the vesical, middle rectal and the uterine arteries, these also will be supplying the ureter. So renal, gonadal, the aorta, the branches from the internal iliac, they all will be supplying the ureter. The venous drainage will be along the corresponding arteries, and it is giving the lymphatic drainage will be to the lateral aortic group of lymph nodes, and also along the iliac group of lymph nodes. So it is exactly following the arterial supply. Arteries भी इसको कहाँ से मिल रही थी? They were the branches of abdominal aorta, as well as the common iliac was also giving branches to it. So similarly, the lymphatic drainage is also going to lateral aortic group of lymph nodes, as well as it is going to the internal iliac group of lymph nodes. So nerve supply will be from T12 to L1. Bladder और ureter में क्या यहाँ पे missing हो गया? L2 is not there, T11 is not there. So it is T12 to L1. Then parasympathetic is again S2 to S4. So it is, now what are the clinical conditions related to the ureter? The main problem is the surgeons have to identify the ureter during the surgeries. So how can one identify the ureter? By the ischial spine, there are continuous contractions occurring in the ureter by which it can be distinguished from the arteries and the veins. So, the branches of the arteries supplying the ureter, they form an anastomosis and they have to be like mobilized from the ureter, otherwise kahin wo cut na ho jaye. So, that means ureter has to be identified. So, how it can be identified? There are muscular contractions or the peristalsis occurring in the ureter. So it can be, especially when it is squeezed or stroked, there is worm-like movement. Then ureteric calculus, it can be impacted where? It can be impacted at the pelvic ureteric. This is which junction? Pelvic ureter. This is which pelvis? It is the renal pelvis and the junction of the ureter when it crosses the pelvic brim. And in the intramural part, with the intramural is when it is entering into the urinary bladder. So it can be. So injuries of the ureteric bladder, it can where it crosses the iliac vessels, in the ovarian fossa also, when the ureter is crossed by, it is the most dangerous site when it is where it is crossed by the uterine artery. So that means a damage can likely occur, and then at the base of the bladder it can be injured.